Hello and good morning everyone. In this video, I will be teaching you about how VPC peering works. So VPC peering is basically a tool to connect two resources or two regions on backbone of AWS network. So just to give you an overview of what VPC peering is, let's go here and see VPC peering, the architecture diagram. And you need to understand it this way, that VPC is a regional service. So we have region 1, region 2 and region 3, or you can have multiple VPCs in a region. If you want to connect the resources without accessing public internet, you can do so by enabling VPC peering. One thing you need to remember is the CIDR should never be the same. So you see all the three CIDRs are different. 10.1.0.0, 10.2.0.0 and 10.3.0.0. So that is the limitation. No CIDR should be same. And secondly, VPC peering is non-transitive. That means if VPC1 is connecting to VPC2 and VPC2 is connected to VPC3, that doesn't mean that VPC1 is also connected to VPC3. All three separate peering connections must be established. So that is the key about it. So two things, again I repeat, that it is non-transitive, and second thing, the CIDR should not be the same. Now in addition to this, for VPC peering services, we connect the resources internally on the AWS backbone, and the root never gets exposed to public internet. In addition to this, another thing is that, for example, if you want to install an application on another region, or if you want to install application to your vendor's resources, then yes, VPC peering is a very safe and a secure process. You can connect the resources. Peering is a free service, but of course, the associated services like EC2 or any other resource that is associated, or the transit piece of data, and that is of course will be built. So please refer to the documentation and the pricing calculator for this process. So I will demonstrate to you how this works, and I will create two VPCs in two different regions which are already there. I will create two EC2 instances in two different regions, and I'm going to call them from each other. So that is one of the way to connect to the services. Now let me show you how your VPC process works. So I'll go here. In this, I will go to VPC. So in Sydney, I have a VPC, and this VPC is this one. I'm going to use the custom VPC, and this is the resource map for this custom VPC. So I have got a public and a private subnet. Similarly, in Melbourne region, also I'll go to VPC. So this is the Melbourne region. Please make sure that the VPC in different regions. So you can have VPC in the same region, VPC in the different region. VPC can be of the same account, VPC can be of different account. So I'll go to VPC, and this is my VPC, and here is the resource map of the CIDR. Another thing is that this VPC has a CIDR of 192.168, and this VPC has a CIDR of 10.0.0/24. So as I said, the CIDR should not be the same. I'll quickly go and I will create a EC2 instance. So I'll go to EC2, and I'm going to launch an EC2 instance over here. I'll click on it. I will type here my EC2 Sydney and let it be AWS. I'll select T3 micro. I'll select the key pair, which is SID, and I'm going to select the custom VPC, which is this, and I'm put it on public subnet, enable public IP, select existing security group, which is here, and I'll just create a web server quickly. I'll just type here hash !bin/bash sudo yum update -y sudo yum upgrade -y sudo yum install httpd-y, which installs the web server. Then I will say sudo chmod 0666, and I will say /var /www/html /index.html. Make sure there is no typo error over here. So what we have done is that we have updated the software, the operating system, upgraded any firmware if it exists, and I've installed the web server, which is httpd. And once the web server is installed, a file is created in this respective directory. And then I will simply say sudo echo, and I will say welcome to $hostname-f. So this is going to print the private IP address of this machine. I'll just make it slightly bigger and bolder, and I will put /b and the tag, and I'm going to end the heading also, and I will say greater than /var /www/html /index.html. So I'm going to copy this into this respective folder, and then I will start the web server. So I'll say sudo service httpd start, and I'll copy this because I'll be needing in the other web server as well. So I'll just quickly refer it that there is no typo error over here and looks good to me, and I'll simply say launch EC2. So it is launching. Now I'll go in Melbourne region, and I'm going to launch a similar EC2 instance over here, and I'll say here instances, and I'm going to launch the EC2, and I'll call it as my EC2-Melbourne, and I'll select this key pair melb, and I'm going to edit, put it in public subnet, and enable public IP, select existing security group, which is MySG, and again I'll go to advanced details, and I'm going to copy paste the same code over there because everything remains the same, and I'm going to launch the EC2 instance. So instance is launching here, and we will wait for the resource to come, and this is your EC2 which is coming up, and this is your EC2 that is going to come up here in this region. So it's almost there, initialized. We'll wait for the resource to get ready. So we have two web servers installed in two systems, and I'll show you how you can access them without public internet. Secondly, I'll now create a peering connection. So I'll go here, click on peering, and I'll say create peering connection, and I will say Sydney to Melbourne. I'll select the VPC, which is custom VPC. The VPC is in this account, same account, but it is in different region, and I'm going to select the different region. My different region is Melbourne. Now it is asking the ID, so I'll go here in Melbourne region. This is my VPC, and this is the ID of the VPC. I'm going to copy it and go here and paste it. So it's copied, and create. A peering connection is created. Now if I go in this region and I go in peering connection, we will see a request has already come, and we'll give the name as Mel to Sid because this is what is happening here now. I'll simply go here, I'll click on action, and I'm going to accept the request. Now remember, the acceptor CIDR is 192.168.0.24, and the requester CIDR is 10.0.0.24, and peering is created. So our peering is now available in both the regions, and you will see peering is active. And you can also see that this is the requester CIDR and acceptor CIDR. Please remember these. This is the key. Now I'll open my terminal window to demonstrate, and I will convert or create this into a bigger screen, which you can see now. I'm going to clear the screen, and I'm also going to create a new tab here. So I have got two tabs here now, And in one tab I will launch the Melbourne EC2, and in one tab I'll launch the Sydney EC2. So I'll go here in Sydney region, Melbourne region, copy the public IP address, and I'll say here sudo ssh ec2-use @public IP -i, and it is from current folder to desktop, and the name of the key was, I think it was key Melbourne, and I will say connect. Password is, and I should be connected to the EC2 instance, and you can see that I have the same private IP address as it is of this EC2. So I am connected now. Now I will go here in the Sydney region, and I'm going to connect the EC2 over here. So I'll copy the public IP address here. I'll run the same command, clear sudo ssh ec2-user @public IP -i, and again from the home to desktop, and there is key sydney.pem, and I should be connected to the system, and I'm connected. Now our two machines are connected. Now we will create a peering, and a peering is also established. But before we do that, let's go here, refresh it. Let's test the web server, and it should be working. And we will say continue to the website, and we have welcome to the private IP address of the machine. Similarly, we'll go here, we'll copy this public IP address, we'll create a new tab, and we will paste it here also, and run it, and we should see a web server is running. So our web servers are running now. In this EC2, if I say curl, which is the way that you get the browser, and I say 3.107.97.145, which is the IP address of Sydney region, you will see that I'm seeing what you were seeing on the browser. Similarly, I go to Melbourne, and I type here curl, and I say 16.50.54.101. So I am seeing here of Melbourne region, but from here, because I have a public connectivity, and I say I want to check Sydney region and .97.145. So this is coming because it's a public connectivity. Now if I say here, because it is able to talk, now if I say here that can you check the curl of this command, or can you log on to this machine from this machine, let's see. So if I say curl, and I paste this private IP address, I should be able to see that, because the browser is, there is no public connectivity over the private IP address from this machine. And if I go here and I say curl 10.0.0.22, I'm not seeing the browser, because from private IP addresses we cannot connect, because the peering is created but the root table entry is not there. So I'll show you how the entry works. So we'll go to VPC. So we see the peering is there. Then we'll go to root tables. So there is nothing in the root table. So we'll go to the root table, and we have a public root table, and I'm going to create a root. I'm going to edit a root, and I'm going to say add root, and I say if anybody comes from 192.168.0.0/24, send it to VPC peering. So we'll send it to VPC peering connection. And what is the connection? That's the connection. And let's save it. So we have created a root entry. Similarly, we'll go here, and we go in the root table, and we go to our main root table, and we create a root, that yes. If anybody comes, because this is the route table of 192, we'll say if anybody comes from 10.0.0.0/24, send them to peering here, and let's connect it, and let's see. Done. Now let's try to refresh it. Control C, and let's try to run this command again. Now you see it is working, because the peering connection knows if anybody is coming from 10.0.0.0/24, all those 251 IP addresses have access to this resource privately also. And same will happen here also. If I press Control C and I say connect, it will also connect. Another thing, I want to connect to the machine. So I am in this IP address and I say, now to connect the machine, this is a Melbourne region where this machine is, and I need the key. So I don't have the key. So I'll open my bracket, the text editor, and I'm going to open the key Melbourne. So it's not here. I'm going to open it, and I'll go to desktop over here, and there's a key which is key Melbourne, and I'm going to open it, and this is the key file. Copy it, go here, and I say sudo nano key hyphen exactly the name, same lowercase .pen, paste, Control V, Control X, yes, enter, ls-l. The file has permissions. We need to take away the permissions. So sudo chmod 0400 key melbourne.pen, and now only owner has root permissions. This is what we want. And now I say sudo, and I say ssh ec2-user @ private IP address of this machine. See, I'm here in this machine and I need the private IP address of this machine, 192.168.0.97 -i key melbourne.pen, and I say yes, and I'm connected to 192.168 from here in 10.0.0.0, and I say clear, and I say sudo nano, I say sudo touch file1, file2, file3. So touch command creates empty file and enter. Done. I press exit and I go back to my main IP address where I belong to. And if I go here on this machine and I say clear and I say ls-l, all three files are there. So this is what peering connection is. Basically, it allows you to access resources privately. Similarly, you can create or copy the file or the key file here for Sydney region. Choose the IP address, the private IP address, and connect to your resources without ever exposing your resource on public internet. And remember, it is non-transitive. It's only between these two VPCs, nothing else. So if a third VPC comes, a new connection has to be established between the requester and the acceptor. And make sure you remember to delete your resources in the end to save your cost. Thanks for watching. All your questions, please feel free to reach me.